Okay, section 11.1 is circumference and arc length. So this is going to deal with circles. Circumference of a circle is C equals 2 pi r, where r is the radius, or pi times the diameter. So if I have a circumference, or if I have a circle with a radius, to find the distance around the circle, be 2 pi r, or pi times the diameter, because the diameter equals 2 times the radius. Some definitions. Circumference is distance around the circle. And arc length is a portion of the circumference. Okay, so I'm going to find the indicated measures. Find the circumference. It's 2 pi r, where pi is 3.14. Radius is 8. 50.24. And because I'm finding a distance around a circle, it's linear units. I'm given the diameter this time, so I can just use the pi times diameter formula. And here we want to find the radius from a given circumference. So we're going to use 65.98 equals pi times r times 2. I forgot to put 2 in there. So I'm going to divide by 6.28. So the radius is approximately 10.5 centimeters. For the radius of a circle with a circumference of 42 meters, circumference equals 2 times pi times r. So, and since it says exact, we really want to use pi in place of that. So 42 divided by 2 pi is 21 divided by pi. And units would be meters. The exact diameter, so 39 equals pi times diameter. So it would just be 39 divided by pi centimeters. And 6, circumference with a diameter. So C equals 15 pi inches. And a lot of times you do see our measurements in a pi unit rather than in an approximation. Arc length. Okay, so this formula is important, and it's just a proportion. So the arc length of a section, calling it AB, over the circumference will equal the measure of the arc over 360. Okay? So, if I want to find the arc length, I'm going to call it AL, arc length, over 2 times 3.14 times 6 will equal the measure of arc AB, which we don't, or we know is 60, so 60, oops, over 360, cross products equal sorry, I don't have this product figured out. Divide by 360. The arc length equals 6.28 centimeters. We're going to skip number 9. Let's go to number 10 with the diameter. So the arc length over the circumference. The diameter, so I use pi times diameter. Central angle over the measure of an entire circle. Cross products. And then divide. Linear units. And finding the measures down here tells me that I have EDF congruent to FDG. So I just want to label that. I want to find the measure of arc EFG. Well, I know that's going to be 80 plus 80, which is 160. The measure of arc EHG is going to be 360 minus EFG, which is 160. So it equals 200. Measure, I'm going to go to number 15, the measure of arc EHF. It's basically going to be 360 minus 80. Okay, so they're the easy ones. Now to find the arc lengths, the length of EFG. So we'll write that down here. So arc length over circumference, which is 2 pi, and the radius you can see is 7. Measure of the angle, so what's the measure of angle EFG? 160 over 360. Again, cross products equal. And I'm not going to show all of that. I think with the prior examples, we know. 14, same thing, EHG. So AL over circumference. And we need to know the measurement of it's 200 from number 12. So the arc length would be, again, cross products equal. And then 16, FEG. Well, FEG is going to be the same as EHF. So we're going to use arc length over circumference. So that's 280 over 360. So the arc length is 34.2. Certainly, if you want to see any of that math, you'll want to see me, and I certainly can explain anything that needs explained. And then we go into finding the indicated measures here. Now we're given, and you can see how it's labeled here. You're given this arc length. Okay? So arc length, arc length over circumference. We're trying to find the measure of the arc in degrees over 360. Cross products equal. So this time, that stuff on the bottom there is 75.36. This is 8596.8. And then divide. It's going to equal approximately 114 degrees. We're trying to find the circumference. So this time I have arc length over circumference equals, and the angle 290 does coincide with that arc length. So I'm trying to find C. Divide. You get this circumference to be 58. And there's a 0.03 in the end. Units, feet. And then the tricky one is going to be when you have to try to find radius. So you have 19.71, 2 pi r, so I'm going to just call that 6.28 r, equals 55 over 360. So 345.4 r. $7095.6. Divide. We get approximately 20.5. And the units are going to be the same as the arc length, centimeters. And then we can do what I'm going to call some applications. Find the perimeter of the region. So I'm trying to find the lengths of what I have highlighted. If you take notice, the two circles are half circles, so once I find length around 1, that's the same thing. So right off the bat, I know that I have 2 times 15. And I basically have a circumference with a diameter of 9. So I have pi times 9. And then I just add those two numbers together. And if I'm trying to find the circumference here, or the perimeter, so I'm trying to find this perimeter, okay? Think about from here to there is 5. So from there is 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. So right off the bat, I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then I have a half circle. So it's going to be 1/2 the circumference. So I want to make sure I don't forget my 2 in there. They basically cancel each other out. So you just end up with 5 times 3.14, which is, and you add those two numbers together. And this ends this section 11.1.